It's on. It's happening.
It's happening.
Awesome. You know what else is happening?
What else is
The
happening?
Speed Puzzle World Series.
No
Let's
way!
go.
No way. Is it really happening?
I know for a while back, whenever the announcements first started like creeping in through things, everybody was wondering, is this a real event? Is this a bit? Like, what's happening? No, Speed Puzzle World Series is in fact happening. It's going to be 1st and 2nd in May in Munich. It's going to be an absolute blast. Are you excited?
Oh yes, I'm excited. But I also have a question. How did you first find out about it?
Oh gosh, I think what happened was at the last World Championships, somebody was leaving behind little stickers or piece of paper, something that said Speed Puzzle World Series coming up. And I think I looked at it at first and I was like, oh, okay, that's fun, but there wasn't a lot of info, but there was a lot of intrigue, and then people kept asking about it and being really curious, and eventually we found out that Lou and Mel were behind it, two fantastic speed puzzlers and organizers. And so everybody, really glomped onto this is a event by speed puzzlers for speed puzzlers.
That's exactly when I got excited about it. Once I found out that it's Mel and Lou organizing it, because that's kind of when I thought, oh, okay, this is now speed puzzlers doing something, and that's going to be like really, really awesome.
Well, I think one thing to really point out about this, and if for folks who don't know, the format of the Speed Puzzle World Series is so radically different from what we've seen so far in the modern speed puzzling competition field. This is a case where instead of there being knockout rounds, where it's like here's a prelim and then a semi, and we whittle things down. In this one, all of the competitors are going to be in every single round. There's going to be 6 rounds of puzzling, and they're going to do each one of the rounds. And each round is dedicated to a very specific aspect of puzzling, right? And so it's going to be kind of a pressure test of what skills all of these puzzlers have and what they're looking at. And I'm just excited to see what the progression is going to be like.
Yes, definitely. And also it's just an exciting idea that it's something that people, I think, have been discussing for a while, that to really find someone who is a champion or all-round champion, it's really something that you have to do with different kinds of puzzles. So just getting one puzzle as a championship final is nice, but it's also a little bit of luck. There have been world champions before who have talked about how they were basically lucky to get a puzzle that is their kind of thing. And this is kind of a nice progression of that, to really have like an all-rounder, because there are people who are extremely fast on a gradient, but can't really do anything with a busy puzzle. And then they are completely in a different position compared to everybody else. So this eliminates that luck element of speed puzzling, which is already like very exciting.
Oh yeah, and even if it, I think that it minimizes it quite a bit, but even then, there's still an aspect on each individual puzzle level of how much does this speak to you in every round. I think that there's a high likelihood that everybody is going to have something that they feel successful with. Which I get excited at any competition, because it's so easy to go to a big event and run into your nemesis puzzle right out of the gate, and then it just feels like the whole event was shot, right? In this case, because you're doing every single round, you're going to have multiple chances to get vengeance on some of those puzzles. Really ground them down into puzzle dust, as it were, and get some success in there, which is really, really exciting. I think that the types of tests that they decided to go for, what the focus for each of the challenges is, I'm just wildly impressed. In round 1, there's color gradients, then there's repetition in round 2, detailed images in round 3, a mystery puzzle, so there won't be a image along with it in round 4. In round 5, it's going to be a circular puzzle, and in round 6, a panoramic puzzle. So one of those ones where it's much longer than it is wide, and it's going to be 636 pieces to cap things on.
And that's also going to be the only one where you get 90 minutes and not 75. So it's also basically a championship final in each round, because traditionally you get 75 minutes for a final in most competitions now, I think. And so yeah, the panorama is also going to be a challenge for space management, not just the piece count itself, but you, unless you like get really familiar with the puzzles, which I think a lot of people are already doing, is you don't know how big the puzzle is going to be and how you're going to manage your pieces. So it's pretty exciting. And then the mystery puzzle is also unboxed. So you get that just in a bag. You have no idea what the picture is going to be. You just get the pieces.
Well, and we're not even entirely sure what the brand is going to be for that one either.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I think that's an aspect that a lot of puzzlers are a little nervous about and also a little excited for, because it really levels the playing field. We know that there's a lot of competitions that heavily rely on certain brands or others. And this is a case where there's a mix of brands, there's a mix of images. So I think it really flattens the expectation of what people are going to be doing and working on. It's we know that Ravensburger is covering 3 of the puzzles. We know that Gibson's is covering the circular and the panoramic. And then we have the mystery, who knows what it's going to be outside of Mel and Lou. And they are all unreleased images. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. And even the two of us who are also going to be there as the live stream hosts, we have no idea what these puzzles are going to be. So we also have zero information on what the image might be in any of them, and we also don't know what the mystery brand is. And Mel and Lou have been saying that they also want us to experience the surprise, not being able to know what the brand or the puzzle image is. So when the competition itself is running, we're also going to just find out what the image is as the people are puzzling it.
Yeah. They've done such a good job of controlling the information to try to keep these unreleased images under wraps. We know that that's a difficult thing to do with how big some of the brands are. And so it's really impressive, the care and thought that they've put in at every level of this in order to make sure that the competitors have a level playing field going into this World Series event.
Yes, definitely. And it also seems like people really caught onto it as well, because especially I think the mystery puzzle is the one that is getting most people excited and scared at the same time, because you could see on Instagram as well that all speed puzzlers who are entered for this competition are jumping on the opportunity to do unboxed puzzles left, right, and center, packing each other mystery puzzles and basically doing swaps all over the place just to be able to trade anything and everything unboxed.
Oh yeah, and I think that really speaks to the puzzle community as a whole too, because the World Series is very much a competition. We're looking at these really high level puzzlers. This is a tight deadline, but there's so many people that are helping each other out in making those bags for the competitors. And it sounds like such a silly thing, but having somebody else throw a puzzle in a bag and prevent you from ever knowing what it might look like, so you can't get any idea in your head, that's really, really cool. And I love seeing everybody be able to have friends or family help coach them and bring them give them a little bit of runway room in practicing.
Yeah, that's for sure. And also just seeing how as soon as people started training it, like following the process of people training for this round specifically, you could just see how people are getting faster and used to the format, because they started out with, I think most people were starting out with times way over 75 minutes. And now some of the top puzzlers that are going to be attending this event are basically doing almost the same times as they do with the box.
It's going to be really cool to see. I was telling somebody before that I've been thinking of the mystery box, the unboxed mystery puzzle, a little bit as a throwback round, because a lot of puzzlers before they transition into speed puzzling, they very much don't use the box whenever they're puzzling. They try to avoid it. They kind of keep their head down, try not to look. And I think this is a little bit of a throwback to the pre-modern speed puzzling, where using the image was less of a required element.
It is true, but that's also mostly the people who are doing large puzzles. So those are the people who do like 3,000 pieces, and there, I think it's also a little bit easier to work without the box because you just have the larger image. So you can kind of sort basically, I don't know, 20, 25 pieces that are going to be one thing, and you have easier connections compared to a 500 where an element of the picture might just be like 2, 3 pieces.
Yeah, well, it's going to be really fun to see. I also I saw a graph recently that looked up the number of puzzles completed on My Speed Puzzling by brand, and there was a huge exponential increase for Gibson puzzles once it was announced that that was going to be a brand used at the World Series. And I think that's really really cool that we're getting new and different puzzles inside of the competitions.
Yes, exactly. As much as we love Ravensburger for competition puzzles, that is the most used puzzle for competitions in general. And it's also nice to see some variety in this case. And Gibson's is, I'm not sure in what countries it's the most beloved outside the UK, but in Europe you don't do that many Gibsons, at least not where I am. It's not that widely popular. So obviously not knowing the brand gives you a big disadvantage if you just go to a competition because not all 500-piece puzzles are the same size for for for
Hmm.
for any kind of competition. So like you don't know the dimensions as automatically as as for a Ravensburger, for example. So obviously people jumped onto whatever Gibson they could get.
Well, and I think it's really really cool that you have so many people that are intentionally practicing and preparing for the Speed Puzzle World Series. This isn't the kind of event where um, you want to hop in at the last second, um, and hope for the best. You want to have a little preparation ready to roll, and I think that's where we're going to see some separation between a lot of the puzzlers. Is what did your preparation look like? Um, I know that in a lot of the competitions, because we have this randomness between what the final puzzle is going to be. This is a case where I've been thinking of it kind of like a lab, a test lab situation where everybody's getting the same puzzle. Everybody is going to be under the same conditions. Everybody's going to be in the same time zone, which is really difficult in some cases. Um, so this is definitely going to be a case where if you're a data junkie, there's going to be a lot of good number crunching that you'll be able to dig into, because you'll be able to see across this huge breadth of puzzlers and puzzles what the rates look like, how are people doing different tactics, and we're going to have the best of the best in here at the same time. Um, I think it's and it goes a little beyond just a simple winner takes all format for any one puzzle, right? Like it's going to be a
Definitely.
cumulative time between all 6 rounds, and then that final one hits. So it's entirely possible we could have somebody leading pretty significantly for the first 5 puzzles, and then somebody else takes the lead on the 6th one, right? It only
Yes.
I think the margins are going to be really tight here.
Definitely. And it also involves a good bit of strategy as well, I would think, because it's also it feels a little bit like a marathon, but like broken up into little pieces, but it's not just the one puzzle where you have to give your all, but you're going to be doing 3 puzzles back to back. Well, not back to back. You're going to have smaller breaks, but you do have to like conserve your energy and
Mm.
maybe try and prepare with how much gas you're going to be putting into like one round or another one, because one might be your strength, a gradient, for example, and another one might be your weakness, which might be the panorama. And you then maybe want to go and conserve more energy for the panorama for the very end so that you can put more effort into it and save on it. Or you can also consider just giving your all into the ones that you're good at and hope for the best in the others.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a really great point. There's all sorts of meta strategy going on here as well. There's a lot of puzzlers that will sit down and they'll do, puzzles back to back to back throughout the day for their practice. But it's also a little bit of a different game when you have these huge adrenaline spikes when the cameras are on, when you are surrounded by, 300 some odd other people all doing the puzzle at the same time. That adrenaline spike of here's the puzzle, okay, we're done, a little bit of a lull, and then you go back in. That's going to be tricky for a lot of folks to be able to maintain long term. So it's there's a lot of different elements at play at the same time. Everybody's going through it simultaneously.
Mhm. It might be a little bit more challenging for those who are not in like not the fastest of everyone, because if you're among the fastest puzzlers that are going to be there, they might be done in 20 something minutes and then they have a longer break between rounds compared to those who might be using the whole 75 minutes. And I do know that it's not just like the top of the top participating here. The competition is open for everyone. And I have heard of people who know they're not going to be finishing, but they want to attend for the experience. And that's also, I think, a very, very good sentiment. And it's going to be very exciting to see everyone there.
Well, I think a lot of puzzlers want to go to also test themselves a little bit and see where they stack up. Because there, I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's only going to be one person that gets first place at the end. I think the entire top 10 and top 20 is going to be extremely tight. I think we're going to see a difference of a couple of minutes between rounds inside of that. It's going to be really, really cool to see how that works out. I feel terrible for the judges who are going to be running around like crazy trying to keep track of all of it. But I do know, and I've talked to several people, they're excited to go to the World Series and test themselves under this kind of stress conditions and see where they're really at. Because we've said it a couple of times, it's not just a one luck puzzle. This is what is the striations look like across the entire puzzle, the entire competition. So it's going to be really, really neat to see that.
And it's not just the challenge itself, but it's again like an opportunity to experience the puzzle community in general. As in, it's again a big international event. We're going to have 38 countries that are represented at this point, and there's still some tickets left. So there might be another surprise country entering the whole party. And
I think
yeah,
last I looked, I think there's only like 13 seats left, something like that. So if you still haven't got it, sign up right away.
if you don't want to miss out, then definitely do. Yes. And it's just the atmosphere at these events, and to be able to puzzle together with all of these people, it's an experience in itself. And then the
Oh,
exclusive puzzles. So it's
it's kind of a net win no matter how you look at it, and you get to be in Munich, which is fabulous. Um, but yeah, we there's 38 different countries represented. In terms of people that are going to be there, all of the Euro Jigsaw Jam top 10 ranked puzzlers from the last quarter are going to be there. We have multiple national first place winners. We have a couple world champions that are going to be there.
we have
A
European
huge
champions. We
We have
have
European champions.
yeah.
Um, we have so many people that have won either top 5 slots at nationals or worlds, in solo, let alone in pairs and teams, which is huge as well. Like it's going to be a star-studded event here in terms of folks that are around. And this is also it's also an event that's attracting a lot of puzzlers that may have skipped some other big events because this really speaks to what they want to see in their puzzling, which is a really high emphasis focus on the competition for soloists. And I think that's going to be really, really neat to see how it all shakes out.
Definitely. And with all these people there, I love the idea that the organizers put into the collectible cards, because you're going to be able to collect all these star people. Well, not depending on who opted into the whole game of being on the collectible cards. But yeah, there a lot of people have been exchanging pins at competitions. It somehow grew into a tradition, and this feels like a really fun twist on it, so that you can collect like Pokemon speed puzzle cards, which is yeah, just a really really fun addition. And then whoever is like really like a fan of someone, they can get it signed, which I think is also lovely. So it will work really well.
Oh man, I'm curious who's going to be able to obtain all 340 puzzlers with signed cards. Like that's going to be an album that's gonna be worth something in a couple of years. Um,
Definitely.
especially knowing that we have 60% of the top 2025 from or sorry 60% of the 100 top 100 individuals from the world championships last year, they're going to be here. We have the world champions, Veronica Alejandro. It's the Gabriel is going to be there. It's There's going to be so many wonderful puzzlers and also just wonderful humans to hang out with. And I
Definitely.
think that's going to be a big draw.
And it's one thing that we are highlighting like the big names, you know? But with an event like this, you can never know about any dark horses that are going to be there. There might be someone that we have no idea about, and they might just appear and take it all, for all
It's
we
it's
know.
entirely possible that you can just put up a solid time for yourself consistently. And if some of these other puzzlers have just a crash out on one puzzle or another, that could be enough of a difference that you could slide into one of those top slots. Um, I think the top 50 is going to be a really really eclectic crew, and I'm excited to see how their tactics and their meta strategies are going to play out.
It's also not
Um,
going to be an easy competition. So, like, wanting to get into the top 50, it's not going to be that easy.
Well, I mean, just we say it all the time. Just completing a puzzle in the time limit is a huge goal, and with this time limit being as tight as it is,
Hmm.
that's even more impressive.
Yes. I have been hearing from people who have started like yeah, training for all of these puzzles, that actually completing a Gibson circle is not that easy to do in 75 minutes.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are cutting it very tight already with the circle.
Yeah. Well, and that might even be a path to getting into that upper echelon of puzzling, is just hitting it under the deadline consistently, right?
Definitely.
Oh, there are going to be shirts and hoodies printed at the site. So I hope everybody brings a little extra cash. We'll see what kind of images they're going to put on there. Maybe there will be a big picture of this guy's face on something.
If
That's
they do, and and someone's going to be walking around with your face on their hoodie, that would be really, really funny. But I do think it's mostly going to be the competition logo for a nice
to be honest, the logo is going to look better on most clothes anyway. So I fully support that. It's gonna be great. There are going to be a lot of puzzles that will be sold there. So we know that there's the whole suite of unreleased puzzles. They're going to try to have some extras that people can pick up while there. So if you have a friend that is going, hit them up and maybe try to encourage them to hop in line before they run out of the extra puzzles.
There's most likely going to be pretty high demand because as far as I know, these puzzles are not going to be sold commercially. So
Mhm.
they are specifically made for the event. So whatever they have left is what they have. So it might be a good idea to pre-purchase them. There is an option on the website and you actually get a pretty good discount on them. So it might be worth it because then you actually ensure that you get the puzzles that you want. Even though it's always risky because you don't know what the puzzle is going to be, obviously. And there are people who are kind of picky and not always want to buy all the competition puzzles just because they're competition puzzles. But the way I see it, these puzzles are also going to be really nice because they also want to test a specific skill. So
Mhm.
what I really really want to see is how they are made up, to really test that skill. Because I would kind of like see in my mind's eye like kind of like an engineering thing happening of like how to make an image up that is really testing a specific skill.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think even if you're on the fence, if you're curious about where you stack up in puzzling, pre-ordering that set of puzzles, it's not going to be the exact same conditions because you won't be in Munich, you won't be surrounded by 300 some odd other people, but you will be able to test the same skill set that all these other puzzlers are going to have. So I think that's a really great thing where if you're even remotely curious, ask somebody to pick up a set for you because that's going to be really really great. And like you said, there's no guarantees that these puzzles are going to pop up anywhere else, so it's going to be a kind of an exclusive club of folks that attend the Speed Puzzling World Series with these unreleased images.
Yes. I do hope that they're going to have the competition logo on it somewhere. I feel like it's a really nice addition. That where the competition where the puzzle
Mhm.
is from. So it might be a nice addition. Hopefully it's going to be on there. But as said, we have
They might
no
have a
idea.
sticker on the box. Yeah, we don't know.
We're going to find
We don't
out
know.
just as everybody else. And then
But
obviously the whole event is going to be live streamed, which is why we are
yes.
talking.
Hi.
Hi. It's going to be really fun. So we have already had some talks with the organizers, obviously, and I can see that they have really put a lot of thought into it. What I really like is that they're not just going to have the top people on camera all the time, but they are going to have at least one camera floating around to also show everyone who is participating because it does happen at a lot of competitions that obviously the top people are fast and they are being shown on camera because it's incredible to watch, but also it feels to some people that as if they weren't there, and that can be also sad for people who are maybe watching from home to cheer someone on, but also because there's multiple rounds and everyone is in every round, it's more likely that people are going to be caught on camera.
Yeah, if you're watching for a specific person on the live stream, if you don't see them in one round, watch for the next one because they're going to try to make sure that everybody gets a few seconds of screen time on there. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is comparing all of the different tactics that we're going to see for these different puzzles.
Mhm.
We've you and I, Fruzsi, we've both commentated a lot of puzzle competitions. Not
Yes.
to not to toot the horn, but toot toot. So we have seen so many different ways of approaching puzzles, so many different time markers for certain things. Um, so this is going to be another incubator for seeing what are the top speeds by a lot of these top puzzlers on these unreleased images side by side for 6 rounds of puzzling. I'm really really looking forward to doing that.
It's going to be incredible to see. And I also kind of think since there's that much thought put into the puzzles that there are also most likely going to be puzzles where it's not just one way to approach it. You do get some competitions where you see 100 people doing the exact same strategy on one puzzle, and then you're basically seeing the same thing being repeated. But hopefully here we're going to see a good variation of people approaching things differently, especially with the mystery puzzle.
Oh yeah. Well, and this is where I think it's really important to remind folks. This is a live stream, but I don't want it to just be you and I talking to each other and shouting into the void. There are things that we miss. There are things that we don't know about. So we need everybody to get into the chat and let us know what you're noticing. Tell us
Mhm.
about important things about these puzzlers so that way we can shout it to the entire world and make sure that everybody's learning from each other and getting excited for this really fun sport and this really fascinating format.
It's also just really good to have a chat with people. Like, a lot of competitions that have live streams have actually a really lively live stream, and like, obviously, there's people who can't make it, but kind of want to feel like they're a part of it, and the chat is a really good way to do that. There have been a lot of really good discussions that grew out of comments that someone just brought up as a topic, which I think is also just such a nice addition to it, and it just contributes to the community feeling again.
Yeah. Well, and we know that one of the ways to get people involved in speed puzzling is when they see it and when they can enjoy it and when they can learn from it. So if you have friends and family, share the live stream with them and make it a group watch. That way you can all have a fun time together, being silly, watching some puzzling, root for people that you know, root for people that you don't know.
Root for
There's a
everyone.
yeah, root for everyone. There's a long history of cheering for people that get the puzzle done right underneath of the bell. So and that's just a lovely moment to be a part of. So I'm doing the call to action and really asking for and hoping people will join us in the streams and keep the excitement going and just be a part of the action. This is an inaugural event, and it's kind of cool to be able to say I was there when. So
Yes,
make sure everybody signs up and is a big part of that.
definitely. And whoever is following online is also going to be a part of it in some way. They will see the main action happening. So that's basically what you want. And then whoever is involved in that and gets involved in the live stream, they might decide to enter next year if it happens again. Or enter whatever speed puzzle competition they have around them, because speed puzzling is an awesome thing to do.
It sure is. Well, I think the Speed Puzzle World Series is really going to inspire a lot of new puzzlers to get into the game. I think it's going to inspire a lot of current speed puzzlers to up their game and to learn from themselves and sort of see what is possible in the puzzling realm outside of just what the final time is. Like, what does the process look like? And being able to chat with the entire community about that is going to be really, really cool for folks.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah. What
Well,
round? What round are you most looking forward to?
oh gosh, I think odd, oddly enough, I think I am looking forward to the panoramic round the most.
Really?
Um, I know it sounds kind of strange. I think that there's a lot of space management in that round that's going to be really cool to see. Whatever the image ends up being is gonna affect things quite a bit. It's going to be at the end of this competition. It's going to be the last round, so there's going to be all sorts of adrenaline, like what players are going to be able to keep from getting tilted if they're not doing great and kind of push through that. What players may find a way to like jump ahead a little bit, and sort of do some catch up. I think that's gonna be a really fascinating round to watch because we also haven't seen panoramics in competition,
Well, not of this size, for sure.
right? Not at this scale. So I think that's going to be a really fascinating watch for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I completely
What?
get that.
Yeah. What about you? Which round are you looking forward to the most?
I think the round with the repetitive puzzle is going to be surprising for
Ooh.
people. I keep trying to imagine what kind of puzzle it might be because as soon as I think of repetition, I either think of something very geometric or
Hmm.
one of those Ravensburger challenge puzzles with the lots of repetition. And then if it's something like that, then that would be a killer round. So that's something that I think is going to be more challenging than people might think because at this point everyone is completely focused on the unboxed and the circle, I think. And
Hmm.
then now recently I have started seeing more and more people posting panorama and being a little scared that it's actually more difficult than they thought it would be. So I think the repetition might be a little bit underestimated.
That's a really good point, and a lot of people may misconstrue repetition as just busy, um, and it's hard to figure out which route Mel and Lou have decided to go on that. I am famously not great at trying to figure out what the image is going to be for these big competitions.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like hazard guesses as to what those could look like. But I think you're right that the repetition round is going to be fascinating to see. And I think that's another one where how do people approach that will be a really fun point of conversation for everybody. If you're watching this, I don't know if the comments are going to be on. Let us know what round you're looking forward to the most.
Definitely. Yes.
Send us Instagram message or just post it up. What are you most excited to see? Who are you rooting for? Do you have friends or family that are going? Let us know what you're thinking about all this.
Or
Yeah.
are you going?
Or are you going? Yeah. Maybe you're excited for yourself. I love it whenever people cheer for themselves to do a fantastic job.
Yes. And yeah, I'm also just looking forward to like the average speed puzzlers who are going to be there because it's one thing that we keep talking about the really fast people who are going to
Mhm.
obviously be the stars because it's really impressive to see a puzzle being done very fast. But if you just manage to do it in the time, even if not, if you manage to do a big chunk of the puzzle before the time runs out, it's already so very impressive and it's everyone's going to be supporting you.
When I think a lot of people are excited to go and test themselves in this environment. I think a lot of people are just excited to go to a really cool destination like Munich. I've never been there before. Little nervous to figure out everything, but I know that everybody everybody's excited to try being in this really centralized location in Europe. Is that about right?
Yes, it is. Like Munich is I think probably okay, not the most approachable parts of Europe because it's so very central. Like Germany is kind of in the middle. So from all
Mhm.
of the directions that you're coming from, it's kind of in the middle. And for overseas people, you can access it very well with an airplane. It has an airport. so it's very central. I for one am going to be driving there because it's kind of easy to get there like that as well. So it's a very nice city. I have also never been. I have driven past it multiple times during my life. I regularly drive past it, but I have never had to stop before. So I'm also looking forward to just getting to know the city a little bit. I love that it's a new destination. There have not been puzzle events there before. So it's a new opportunity to puzzle and travel.
I'm a huge fan of opportunities, and so I've heard that Munich is a great place for dancing. I've heard that there's some good food there, so maybe we'll get to do a little bit of dancing and eating and just have a good time puzzling. I love it whenever the whole community gets to explore a place that a lot of people haven't gotten to go to yet. And so we're gonna see a lot of people enjoying the location quite a bit, I believe.
It's also just lovely to see a city fill up with puzzlers because for most of these puzzle events, all of a sudden you just see in restaurants and basically any kind of free table space, you just see a puzzler appear whenever there's a big puzzle event happening. So that's also just funny to have like a spot the puzzler thing going on in a new city, which is just going to be really fun.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many puzzle converts we end up getting in Munich, just from the puzzle army that's getting ready to to go play and put all those pieces together.
And not just
It'll be
that,
really fun.
but the competition venue, the Tonhalle is what it's called. It's a concert venue. And it's
Oh, it's
also
beautiful.
apparently in a really lively area. So there might just be people who see the weird puzzle things happening and they just walk in to check out what this is and they might turn into puzzlers.
Every time the snowball gets a little bigger, it just makes the community better. So I'm excited for that. Like I have a harder time trying to describe the things I'm not excited about for the World Series, because it's an event that's by speed puzzlers for speed puzzlers, and you can't beat that combination. It's just a wonderful.
It's definitely a wonderful thing. And it's just 3 weeks away.
Oh my gosh, it is so soon. I need to start packing immediately. Um,
Because you are already leaving for Europe, if I'm correct.
um, yes, that is a thing that is happening imminently. So, and part of that is en route to the series. I'm excited. Um, Frushi, I'm looking forward to getting to see you there. And I'm looking forward to getting to see all of the puzzlers that are going to be there as well. And I'm looking forward to chatting with folks in the stream as we're doing everything.
Yeah, I'm also just so looking forward to hosting the live stream with you. It's always incredible. It's always an experience. And your enthusiasm is also just, yeah, it sticks on you. So it's going to be just an event to yeah to experience really, and I can't wait. There's not much time left, so if you haven't signed up yet, then definitely do because we want to see you there.